You know, without methamphetamines, it's said that the factories would close, that no one would serve food at the restaurants, that nothing would open, and that there's a corrupt system, and it knows this, exploits this. Methamphetamines are illegal and should be illegal because they destroy your mind. Uh, but this meth user, who I know, he said he had a $38,000 price on his head and that he had to sell meth because that's the only way you can make $2,000 or $3,000 a day, and he had to pay $300 a day to stay alive. And so he had to sell meth. That was the way he looked at it. Now, granted, he was taking meth, and so he was pretty fucked up, and he probably wouldn't have seen things that way if he wasn't taking meth. But it brought to light a very interesting uh, issue for me to think. So meth is illegal, and the government isn't really trying to catch the meth heads and put them in jail, or it's not interested in that. I said, hey, buddy, so you've got a price on your head, and you have to sell meth for them instead. Why don't you just call the cops? No, 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 no. No. Apparently, calling the cops wouldn't make much of a difference. That's what he said. I didn't call the cops. I dealt with it my own way, got them out of my life, and that's cool. I wish more people would just do things for themselves instead of calling the cops. But I like to have cops there to call if you need to. I mean, they are doing their job most of the time. There's domestic violence, there's drugs and thieves, and some of the drugs are bad, and some of the thieves are catchable. So there's a supply and demand for police, and until humanity is able to take care of itself, we'll have police, and there's no point in hating them. I don't hate police. I don't think I've ever really had any bad encounters with them. In fact, most of my encounters with police have been pretty positive. But I live in Arkansas, in Fayetteville, and we have it pretty good here. And so, this is a shout out to the Fayetteville Police Department. You guys are pretty cool, and we know that you guys have a tough job and all, but we really appreciate that you stay down to earth a little bit. Like, you're not like LA cops or nothing. Fayetteville cops, they're pretty cool. They'll actually just smile at you and wish you a nice day. Or, they're just nice. Fayetteville cops are kind of nice compared to some of the other cops. Now, the Fayetteville cops recently did shoot and kill a friend of mine for no reason. I'm sure that there's a good explanation for that. That's just a worldly issue I'd really care not to take up because, well, there's too many of those. I can't really campaign against everything. But I'd like to campaign against hating cops, and then I'd like to hate on some cops, or hate on cops, I guess, a little bit too, because if they're in league with the methamphetamine system, well then we're in trouble, because we can't have a completely contradictory system. I mean, there's got to be something that makes sense, right? I mean, it's a rationally constructed world that we tried to make, and we need to root out the irrational parts and figure out what to do. But if cops really aren't going to be there for you when it comes time to bust some meth, because they know that the factories wouldn't open and the stores wouldn't open without meth, we have a problem, and if I was president, I would you know, just declare a week off for everybody to sleep, especially the meth heads, because they've been up for so long. They probably need to sleep, and then no drugs for them. There's no way around it. Meth would have to just go. That's just my opinion, and I know it's pretty far-fetched, but it's as far-fetched as wishing a plant would go away. I mean, marijuana, the social ill. We must combat it by putting smokers of marijuana in jail. Maybe the plant will go away. If we get enough potheads in jail, there won't be any out there planting the plant, and then it'll just kind of go wild and turn back into hemp. But with meth, that's one of those things you have to put it together. It's human, it's a human drug. It's very technologically oriented drug. You have to assemble all these things and then do some magic chemistry, and then you get meth, which people take and apparently like enough to take again and again and again. To the average human being, this does not compute. Seems insane. The people don't seem happy, and so we can usually draw a conclusion that the drug is bad, and that, well, that's where the government comes in. And I guess somebody called the government one day and was like, my boy's been acting funny, and I think it's meth. Could you please make meth illegal? Okay, ma'am. Yes. And so meth is illegal, pot is illegal, cocaine is illegal, LSD is illegal. Lots of things are illegal because they're a drug that basically, if people could figure out how to make aspirin, aspirin would be illegal. But, well, we're not going to worry about it. We know how to make aspirin. But if a drug can't be capitalized on, it's illegal. If a drug is, purely pharmaceutical type, needing, research laboratories to produce and big factories and shit, pretty good chance it's going to be legal because you can make money off of it being legal. And so, pot's a good candidate to make illegal because that's the only way you're going to make any money off of it, because if it's legal, everybody's going to grow it. It's like tomatoes or zucchini in the summertime around here. Everybody's got zucchini and tomatoes. You don't really need to try and sell them at the store because everybody's got them in their backyard. So that's how weed would be if it was legal.